Okay, this is the worst laptop ever. We need to talk about how bad the Dell G5 SE is, Special Edition. It's terrible. So, let's talk about this, even just for gaming or anything else. First of all, it uses a ton of power. 122 watts, and that's with the CPU not doing anything. Yes, it's mining 34641. This has the bad RAM, I forget, the Micron or the Samsung. This has RAM that will not overclock over 1500 megahertz or it absolutely crashes. But worse than that, so you have gaming mode. Gaming mode, and this thing is really horrible. If you turn off gaming mode, there's no way to ramp the fans up to 100, and it will absolutely just crash itself from the memory overheating within about 30 minutes. If you put it in gaming mode and leave it like this, propped up, it will crash after a couple hours. If you really want it to work 100% of the time, you can't. You'd have to put it up like this on its side. Up on its side, it will suck in, and that might work for a few days, but it will crash. But if you watch, it throttles itself. You turn off gaming mode, not only will it crash, but it will try to drop the memory to 200 megahertz. So it's not switching. I have the smart shift off. Oh wow, it's saying the power adapter is not recognized. Cool. Well, that's new. Anyway, this thing is really, really awful, and I want to show you what I've done here with to make it keep the memory at least near 1500 most of the time. So with the VBIOS going to 5600, power and voltage. So maximum was 900, minimum 700, but frequency, I have DPM2 and DPM3 at 750. Otherwise, if you do not set DPM2, let's see if we can actually focus here. Yeah, there we go. DPM2, if that's not 750, with the specific modules that are in here, it will just clock itself down to 200 megahertz. And it's not switching to internal graphics, it's just that it's so terrible. Whatever heat sinks are on the memory or lack of heat sinks, it will just drive itself down to 200 megahertz so it doesn't crash from whatever the update is that they provided past the 1.3 BIOS. So I've been on 1.5, this is on 1.44 now, I've been on 1.3. When it was on 1.3, it actually held up and it kept going without the downclocking, but I think that's why people got the crashes to blue screen, the VDP error, and I still get that sometimes. But again, I don't recommend for anyone to buy this laptop. It is absolutely garbage, absolutely garbage. And I honestly, you want to know about the last time I bought an ATI, or not, I had an ATI graphics, was the Rage 2C, and the drivers in that, and we're talking about like Windows 95 and Windows 98, the drivers made me so angry I didn't buy another ATI video card. I went with anything else. And here we go, the next one I get like 20 years later, and it's already downclocking, and it won't speed up the fan itself. You have to put in this awful gaming mode. And this is not like an Alienware. An Alienware with NVIDIA works a million times better. It makes this awful sound. Anyway, this whole process of this, the CPU's nice. I've been a fan of AMD CPUs for a long time. The internal graphics and the shared to the 5600M, it's just awful, absolutely awful. This is probably the worst laptop I've ever owned, and I wouldn't recommend for anyone to own this, because I know it's mining and people hate mining, but you can't do anything. You can't render with this, you can't play anything with this. It's basically an integrated graphics laptop, unless you want it to downclock or run it with this awful fan all the time, propped up higher than that on its side. So anyway, this thing has got to go, but just a warning, do not buy this laptop.